That was my passion to start geology, but this year there were little issues.
Sir, can we start?
Aruna, I am here.
Yes, sir.
I think Dr. Singh is also there.
Yes, VC sir has joined. So it's 11. Can we start?
Yes, yes. We should be on time.
Yes.
Pankaj Chopra sir also joined here.
Okay, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So let us start the event. Good morning and a warm welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh, respected Chairperson Academics, Professor Alok Kumar Buragohain, invited speakers for the day, Professor R.M. Pant and Mr. Pankaj Chopra, and all the participants present here today in the Impact Lecture Series Part 2, organized by Royal Global Universities Institutions Innovation Council, supported by Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell. This lecture series is organized with the prime objective to enhance students' understanding of the concept of entrepreneurship, innovation, and startup, and motivate them to take up entrepreneurship as a career and provide a platform for networking and relationship building. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. With this quote by Warren G. Tracy's student, I begin today's program by saying a few words about Royal IIC. Royal's Institution Innovation Council was initiated in the year 2019, and since then there was no looking back, as IIC went on organizing events one after another to benefit its interested stakeholders, and within a short span of time it earned laurels due to its genuine efforts. Now, Royal IIC is all set to inaugurate its incubation nest in its campus to guide, support, and mentor the budding entrepreneurs. Under the able leadership of the prime contributors, to name a few, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh, Sir, respected Chairperson, Sir, Coordinator, Sir, Dr. Hirak Ranjan Das, Convener, Mr. Shravan Goenka, all the dedicated members and supporting staff. IIC organized talk shows, competitions, awareness campaigns to ignite innovation and research amongst young minds. So this is a short but an impactful journey undertaken by Royal IIC so far. Now, I would request our respected Chairperson Academics, Professor Alok Kumar Buragohain, Sir, to deliver the welcome address. Before that, I would like to read Sir's brief profile. Sir had his early education in Shillong and was amongst the first batch of graduates from Northeast Hill University. Sir obtained his post-graduation degree from Guwahati University and PhD from Imperial College of Science, Technology and Medicine under the University of London in plant molecular biology and DIC in plant virology, microbiology from Imperial College of Science, Technology and Medicine. Sir was the founder head of the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology at Tezpur University, a central university in Assam. Professor Buragohain is also the founder of the ONGC-sponsored Center of Petroleum Biotechnology in the same university. Professor Buragohai has extensive experience of 4 decades in research and teaching. Sir has more than 90 research publications in national and international journals of repute. During the last 10 years, Sir had stints in academic governance, first as the Registrar of Tezpur University and then as the Vice Chancellor of Dibrugarh University, Assam, for full terms of 5 years each in both the positions. We are pleased to have you here with us today amidst your busy schedule. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna, for your kind introduction. And a very good morning to our distinguished speakers this morning, Professor Rajiv M. Pantji from the Center of Management Studies, NARIST. And also, we are very privileged to have amongst us as the second speaker, I think, today, Mr. Pankaj Chopra from Delhi, who is an angel investor and also associated with the whole business of innovation and startup in the country. At the outset, I would like to extend my personal welcome to the distinguished speakers, especially Professor Pant and Mr. Kapoor, and also my esteemed colleagues, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor S.P. Singh, my distinguished colleagues, and the participants of today's impact series of, I think this is the second series of lecture series under the aegis of the Institutions Innovation Council. As we have been already told that this is a body unit which has been established way back in 2019 under the aegis of the then Ministry of Education of India. And to promote entrepreneurship through encouragement of research and innovation amongst students and young faculties. And as we agree with all of you that the country needs more young innovative minds whose can be translated into enterprise so that they can contribute towards the building by strengthening our economy and academia and industrial sectors. I would not hazard a long lecture because we have two distinguished speakers, and Professor Pant, as you all know, he has got enormous experience and involvement. Especially during the last few years, he has been deliberating on and delivering lectures on innovation, entrepreneurship development across the to you, my personal welcome to you. To Royal Global University, and no stone unturned to catch the young minds, both the students as well as the young faculties, to give them platform so that their ideas can be given opening for being transformed into business ideas, business models. And we are going to formally launch within, I think, next one. We are with the Innovation Incubation Center. So there we provide space to young entrepreneurs and who are in the line of business. And I would like, for the benefit of the students, I would like to just remind you the kind of potential that you have with you. I'll just cite two statistics. A few months back, the Global Innovation Index has been announced. 2021 is ranked among the 131 countries. See, about 6 years back, our position was 86. So within this 6 years, we have to a very 48 position. So we are among 50 innovators innovative country in the world. That is an achievement of innovative potential and capacity. Innovation needs to be morphed into a viable, visible, sustainable model. This potential of our young schools. And the only thing is that there are major hurdles are absolutely we can overcome. We need the will. One is industry academia linkage that we do not have. We are going to have now. We are having it, industry academia. We need investors. We are having investors now. Pankaj Chopra ji will be telling us more about it. And we have the knowledge capital. Professor Panji is going to tell us about the knowledge capital, the importance of knowledge generation and knowledge diffusion to the market. So these are the issues, I think, which are not formidable. What is a formidable challenge is that our innovative capacity, and which we have evidently. A few years ago, it was Israel, a tiny dot in the world map, which produced the largest number of startups in the country, in the world. Israel is a tiny dot in the, and they're in the middle of wars and whatnot, under so much of adverse conditions, without any valuable resources, natural resources. Only one capital, human capital, that they emerged as the largest number of startup company producers in the world. And I would conclude by saying this: please remember, India is the largest producers of engineers in the world. So it has to match with our innovative capacities. We need engineers, good engineers, engineers with ideas and innovation, and we are ready to take you forward with your business models. So thank you once again. I welcome all of you, sir, and especially Pankaj ji and Panji. We look forward to your valuable deliberations, and I congratulate the organizers for having you invited, and thank you very, very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for enlightening words. Now, I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh, sir, to address our participants. Before that, I would like to read sir's brief profile. Way back in 2009, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh joined the Royal Group of Institutions, Guwahati, as the founder, director, and worked with the group for a period of 5 years. He then joined MIT Education Group as the senior vice president and was responsible for academic administration of 6 MIT universities situated in different states of this country. In addition to that, he also served as the founder vice chancellor of MIT University, Chhattisgarh, for almost 2 years before joining the Assam Royal Global University in November 2016. To anchor this university to heights of success and glory. With more than 3 decades of rich experience in teaching, research, academic administration in institutions of repute across the nation, Royal Group is blessed to have served twice in its journey so far. Serving the second tenure as Vice Chancellor of Royal Global University, Professor S.P. Singh has been heading institutions of repute since the last 20 years and is a well-known academician and administrator, having a very dynamic and enterprising personality. A geologist, MBA, and a law graduate with a PhD in strategic management, Professor Singh is also an ardent baseball player and has been actively involved in various social and cultural activities since his university days. Sir is also the member of the Executive Council of Dibrugarh University and Assam Task Force. Over to you, sir. Singh, sir. I think there's a technical glitch. I'll just confirm, sir.
Aruna, just 2 minutes. I think there is some technical hitch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just tried to contact his office, but then Jenny is not picking up.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think sir might be busy with some other engagements. So should we move
But he
forward?
was there, briefly I saw him.
Yes, sir. He joined. I'm trying to contact him, but I'm unable to.
Jenny phone करो so रोए ऐसे भी Aruna, I am trying my last attempt, and otherwise you continue.
Okay.
Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, okay, sir.
There he is.
It's our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Sir has joined. So Sir, I've introduced you. Sir, you may address Sir Catherine. Sir, you are muted.
Aruna, I'm so sorry. I was not on my seat at that point of time. I was on a round because of some urgency in the admission department. So my humble request is whenever you introduce anybody and just confirm that person is physically present in the digital format or not. So good morning to all of you. And I think this should not go in this manner because, if I'm not present on my table, how can I know that you are calling me or asking me to speak or introducing me? So you have to confirm with my office or confirm my presence by seeing my video or streaming it or not. So thank you, everyone. Good morning to everyone present here, and especially to the honorable speaker today, Professor Rajiv Mohan Pant, and other eminent speakers today. So I'm very sure the deliberation today, entrepreneurship and changing reality, and other discussions, whatever has happened so far, must be for the benefit of all of us in Royal Global University, and to my colleagues, Professor Bora Gohai, all the students and faculty members of commerce and IIC and other departments, engineering, management. So I think many of them will be definitely attending. Good number of students are here. So I will not be able to on this topic today. Or neither I have been asked for it, but my best wishes to all of you. And Pankaj ji and all others, we are eagerly waiting to listen to you. And I think it is going to be a very important deliberation today. Thank you, Arna, and thank you, Professor Bora Gohai. Your person, when he came, your PN, then I came to know that I have to attend. All the best to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sparing a valuable time. And sir, sorry for the problem that happened. That will not.
Yeah, it should not happen. Please be careful. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So moving ahead with today's program, now let me introduce our first speaker for the day, Professor Dr. R.M. Pant. So before that, I would like to read sir's profile. Professor Rajiv Mohan Pant has been associated with higher education since 1986 and has taught economics and management in some premier academic institutions of India, naming a few: BIT Misra, NIFFT Ranchi, Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology, NERIST, Nirjuli, Arunachal Pradesh. He also served as the director of NIRD, National Institute of Rural Development, Northeast Regional Center, Guwahati, for a period of 6.5 years. Professor Pant visited many universities to deliver invited lectures in the country and abroad. Sir also offers consultancy on behavioral aspects to various organizations. Professor Pant has more than 100 research papers and 8 books to his credit. He is the member of Scientific and Technical Advisory Group STAG of National Commission on Himalayan Studies, Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. He is also a member of Scientific Advisory Committee, GB Pant National Institute of Himalayan Environment, Kosi, Almora. Dr. Pant is also associated with some of the working groups of Niti Aayog and also headed working group on transforming shifting cultivation and was the lead author on the report submitted to Niti Aayog. Professor Pant has been the member of academic councils of many universities, including Chancellor's nominee in the Academic Council of Assam University. He is also a member of Board of Management, NERIST. Sir is presently working as Professor of Management at NERIST under Ministry of Education, Government of India. Sir, I would request you to address our participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Karunaji. And it's indeed a great opportunity for me to be, talking to such an enlightened audience. Right? Honorable Professor Singh, the Vice Chancellor, Royal Global University, respected Professor Borgohain sir, esteemed faculty members of Royal Group, and also the esteemed participants. Very good morning to you all. In fact, it is indeed a pleasure interacting with such an enlightened audience. I'm sure some faculty members, research scholars, and even students are also attending this. So I'm quite tempted to talk to you all. And my topic would be entrepreneurship, the changing realities. I hope you can see the screen and also you're able to hear me clearly, right?
Yes, sir.
So I will I have around 40 minutes time, I believe. So I'll try to cover these aspects very quickly. And of course, when I get more time, I'll build on these issues in details later on sometimes, right? So today I'll just touch upon certain aspects quickly and try to cover everything within 40 minutes time, right? So entrepreneurship, changing reality, this is the topic. And I would like to start with how aspirations are changing in the present time and entrepreneurship is required. Okay, I'll also give examples of some role models who have been able to script some success stories, and I'll conclude with 10 golden rules, that are suggested by none other than a great entrepreneur of a country, Aziz, right? So let me start with a few lines written by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I chose the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference. And this road less traveled by is the road that leads to entrepreneurship. I'll talk about it later. In our society, kinds of people who make things happen. There are other type of people who make things happen. And then people who wonder what has happened. And I'm sure you know that I belong to the first category, people who make things happen, right? And these people, or the entrepreneurs who make things happen, they play a very important role in, in the development of any economy, right? So we need more entrepreneurs so that we can see things happening quite fast, right? Now I come to this changing aspirations, right? A person of my age, when we were in college, our aspirations were to get a job. And if the job is in the government sector, that's even better, right? So conventional mindset was, get me some job, okay? And, once you are in a job, you have no option except to follow your boss, right? Do whatever your boss says and be happy with that, right? No need to use your own brains, no point using your own innovative ideas. Whatever boss is always right? And then wait passively for your growth. Okay, when time comes, maybe you have completed 10-year service, you become eligible for associate professor. You have completed 15-year service, you become, so wait passively for your growth. You can't do much, okay, and be satisfied with whatever comes in the way. Okay, and result, there is no much growth, personal growth, as well as now this sector also is now on the verge of saturation. So jobs are getting saturated, productivity is low, and one has to be complacent with whatever you are getting, right? Now the present mindset. I'm very happy. We often talk about youth dividend in case of India. India is a country of young people. India is a country of youth. And I'm happy that their mindset is now changing. They believe that I select, their belief is that I select a career that satisfies my passion and suits my strength. I will do what I really feel I must do. That's my passion. Then I should do only that. And I should, choose a career which basically fits into my strength, which suits my strength. Okay? I select a career that offers great opportunities and freedom to innovate and excel. I can use my own ideas. I will use my innovative thinking. This is, present generation is thinking now. Students passing out from IIMs and IITs, they are not craving to join food organization or government organization. They are basically interested in using their own power of ideas for their own great growth. I actively pursue growth through own performance. Harder I work, luckier I become, right? Harder I work, luckier I become. This is the philosophy that dominates the minds of people, the mind of young people, right? Just a minute, please. I actively pursue growth through own performance. Harder I work, luckier I become. That's the principle that dominates present youth, and earning sufficient to generate surplus to enjoy life. This young generation is very, very enthusiastic. They believe in that ye life na milegi dobara, right? Ye zindagi na milegi dobara, guys. So they want to earn a lot of money, and at the same time they want to spend a lot of money. And when they spend money, that also gives a kickstart to our economic activities, right? So result, they prosper, and at the same time economy also prospers. So what kind of mindset we need? The present one. We don't look for jobs, rather we look for creating jobs for others, right? So I'm happy that this changing aspirations are changing, and as respected Professor Borgohain mentioned, that India is doing very well in this direction now. Entrepreneurship is really thriving in India, and I would like to add here that in last few years we have produced 66 now unicorns have emerged. That suggests, that reflects how this aspect is gaining the momentum. And these 44 unicorns added, 40% unicorns added to our economy in just last 1 year during COVID time. So it's really happening, and it's happening for something better for the country. Why entrepreneurship? We know that once people use their innovative ideas, they learn to use resources that are available, that would definitely handle the economic backwardness, social backwardness of the region, economic development of the region. If there are many resources, human resources as well as other natural resources, and any other resource remain underutilized or unutilized, and due to that reason, region doesn't develop. We have, who knows it better than people living in Northeast region? Entrepreneurship was weak here, and that's why, despite being a very rich region, we could not really make much impact on national country's economy. But now it is happening. I'll show some examples then. To enable proper resource utilization, unless until resources are utilized properly, we cannot think of entering the orbit of developed countries. Proper utilization of human potentials, implementing innovations and to create employment and eradication of economic disparity. These are some of the reasons why entrepreneurship is basically preferred or advocated. Who is an entrepreneur? Normally entrepreneurs show high need for achievement. I will not work under anyone. I'll be my own boss. I don't have to tell someone, that, you are always right, boss is always right. No, I will be the boss. Need for achievement. I'll be the commanding position. I'll lead, right? Need for power. Power lies in my hand. If I have good ideas, I will have more power. If I and new and improved, new innovations, because once we have innovations, we get that first movers advantage. Right? We have thousands of examples where even small innovations, like we never thought of having a product like Maggie in the country. It's just a small product which is not a very great concept. but it was a very innovative idea, 2 minutes noodles, and it hit the market and made big difference in companies' revenues. Okay? So entrepreneurs, they are high on need for achievement. There's a saying that nothing succeeds like success. So having achieved one success, they look for next. All right. And need for power, they want to have power in their own hands rather than deriving power from other source. And third, innovative. They are very high on innovation. They have very fertile ideas, very fertile minds, and they'd like to use their innovation for their own development and also for the development of the country. Independence, Bill Gates, he says, I never studied to top. And today, many toppers of the top universities are my employees. You all know that Bill Gates is a college dropout. He says that I never studied to top, but today many toppers of the top university are my employees. Okay, so independence is another very important characteristics that the entrepreneurs reflect. Propensity to take risk. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, both of them were doing PhD in Stanford. Okay, they struggled while doing the literature review. Okay, and then they realized that people across the globe which offers you a lot of insights on all the issues. Okay, so they took risk. They left their PhD program in the middle and started Google. And then, of course, their good idea immediately was supported by an angel investor. Of course, we have angel investor today as our speaker, Pankajji. I'm sure he will get a lot of ideas from the young entrepreneurs and support them, right? And then another important thing is leadership. Leadership, they have shown leadership. We have Warren Buffett, we have Bill Gates, we have our own Azim Premji, we have our Tatas who have played a very important role in in the development. Okay, so now my question, I would urge young students to answer this question, whether do they have these qualities, and I'm sure they do have these qualities, and then they must try to refine these qualities to enter into the area of entrepreneurship. Okay, yeah. I would like to, I have very limited time, just half an hour time, so I would like to basically, there is a saying that seeing is believing, right? So I would like to cite some examples that have come in our own vicinity. There are some examples from Northeast. Okay, and I'm sure that will motivate many other people, many young friends to enter into entrepreneurship. I've chosen 4 examples here. A daffodil nursery, which is there in Khetri, very close to Guwahati. I'm sure you must have seen that while coming from Guwahati to this side. Okay, Nara Aba, another new venture that was started by one of our students of Neris, and she has earned she has brought a lot of laurels for herself and also for our institute Neris. Okay, then Darge Brokpa of Chandar, and then Kudamba, the Kiwi King, I call him. So I'll share these 4 stories briefly because of this time constraint. Let me first take you. Take you to the highlands of Tawang, right? There is a place called Chandar in that area. You can see me with this gentleman. This is Mr. Darge Brokpa. We are standing at the altitude of around 12,000 feet. Okay, you can see this place is above the tree line. All right, and at this height, the only interesting feature you find is this yak. And this gentleman, Mr. Darge Brokpa, his cute wife, Mrs. Sering, and his son. These 3 people, this trio of this Brokpa trio, they are running a business. They are having a business, and you will be happy to know that they are sticking to their traditional business of yak rearing. Okay, and you'll be amazed to learn that. Can I have some guesses? What would be their annual turnover? what would be their economic worth? Mr. Darge Bropa's economic worth. Can anyone, he is into this yak rearing business, and his economic worth, can anyone guess? All right, it's difficult.
50 crores.
Sorry? 50
50 to
crores.
100 crores, yes.
50 to 100 crores. I think Professor Singh, you are right. Okay. His economic worth is around 100 crores. All right. And I'm sure many people will question this. He owns 2,000 yaks, and the price tag on each yak is around 1 lakh rupees. So straight away, you can calculate. You can calculate. All right. And then he is producing these yak products, yak cheese, yak ghee, which have a lot of demands in Southeast Asian countries, Bhutan, even Tibet. So he exports all these things. His son, you can see his young son. He does BSc from Delhi, from a very prestigious college, Delhi University. He decided his studies to join his father's business. After all, 100 crores business is not a small thing. Okay, and I would love to take Professor Singh to this Chandar village with me sometime. So Highlander, Darge Bropa, a small man, who was involved in physical labor before entering into this business, has been able to script this success story. So if he can do that, anyone can do that, right? Second, Mr. Budamba. Mr. Budamba again is from the same region, orchards in Dirang, Arunachal Pradesh. And let me give you, let me introduce Mr. Budamba briefly. He started his career as a laborer in Santi Sea Breeding Farm. He started his career as a laborer. As a young boy, he worked very hard. He was, carrying stones on his shoulders. He was carrying bamboos and, working for more than 12 hours a day. Okay. Then he realized that, there can be some better opportunities, and he started, growing apples in his agricultural fields. And then came Arunachal government scheme to promote kiwi, and he was one of the first kiwi growers of Arunachal Pradesh. Initially, he was supplied 500 saplings by the government of Himachal Pradesh, and 4 years back, Himachal government requested him to Himachal Pradesh. So this is a success story. He is one of the largest producer of kiwi in whole of country, and he did not there. And you growth, you are only inviting your downswing. So he is not only growing kiwi, he started he's growing apples, kiwi, and then and not just that, he has developed his own nurseries. Now he is supplying saplings to all the hill states who want to plant these products there, these fruits there. So he's a huge supplier of kiwi saplings, persimmon saplings, and of course this apple is always there. And he's now a person who went to school, or if I use crude language, he's an illiterate. He loves calling himself as an illiterate, but he is consultant to Nagaland government. He's consultant to Sikkim government, and he has also been invited by Uttarakhand government to ideas about all these things. Okay, and recently, just 3-4 years back, he got the Mahindra award for his great entrepreneurial. have been able to success story, and now he's a billionaire. Mr. Budamba is a billionaire, but he's still sticking to roots. Very, person with very high humility, right? Now I'll talk about my own student Rita Tage, who passed out from Nearest in early 90s. She did her BTech in Rural Development, Department of Rural Development of Arunachal Pradesh, probably, as assistant engineer. And after having worked for a few years, he realized that no, this is not something that satisfies her passion. So she left her job and in huge amount, her capacity around 4 crores rupees to set up a winery. It was not easy to winery area which did not have proper communication. Transportation was a major challenge, and machines would come here and then assembling and all. It was quite a difficult job. Now her Nava is a big hit. She is the first kiwi wine brewer of the country, and her wine is purely produced out of this organic kiwis. And of course, there is a linkage between Budamba and Tagerita. Budamba initially supplied kiwi saplings to Tagerita, and now Tagerita has her own, kiwi fish. And, she is going for this backward integration and forward integration, and market so well that she has got UNDP and Niti Aayog awards and several other awards, entrepreneur of Northeast, and many awards. When you can see, you can get the details on this Wikipedia also, which talks highly about Tagerita. She joined Nearest after completing a class 10. I saw her as a small kid, but now I see a matured and a very confident entrepreneur. And this is what is the power of entrepreneurship, right? And of course, I mentioned about daffodil. Sorry, I do not have pictures of daffodils. Yeah, and there was one school in Khetri, and the principal, Mr. Gopinath sir, was the principal who was a very committed teacher, and for that he earned the name Shiksha Doot. He was known as Shiksha Doot in the treason. Okay, when he retired, he served government for about 30-35 years, and on his retirement he got some amount as provident fund and other things, pension and all. And then after retirement, he fell sick and he was to be admitted in AIMS. And all his life's earning was drained out in treating his ailments. Okay? And one thing that he had taught to students was spend your leisure time in creative activities. Gardening was one of his favorites. So his children, his 2 sons, who also studied in school, and realizing the hardships after Gopinathji passed away, they knew that their strength is gardening. That is what their father had taught them. They started a small nursery in Khetri, and they had limited amount with them, 5,000 rupees, and then started that nursery with just 5,000 rupees. And during those times of crisis, when their first of 10,000 rupees was received, that was a big, motivation. That was a big motivational factor for them. And I interviewed Mr. Dhruv Sharma, the elder son of Gopinathji, and very a man of humility. And today he is supplying these saplings not only to different parts of the country, but to whole of Southeast Asia. And his audited, turnover is 20 crores rupees per annum. Right? A business that started with just 5,000 rupees, with no surety that they will be able to survive or not, but they realize that this is the only thing they know. This is their strength. Gardening is their strength. They know horticulture, right? And this is what can give us some, mileage. And today their annual turnover is 20 crores rupees, right? And again, when we don't grow, we go out of the business. Realizing this fully well, now we have two daffodils, old daffodil and new daffodil. All right, new daffodil is started by the younger brother, younger Sarvas. So I was curious to know why this two. Is there any rift between these two brothers? Dhruv and his younger brother, both of them laughed at me. So no, there is no problem with the two brothers. But, demand was so huge that, one enterprise could not have, met this huge demand, right? So they are helping each other. But now they have two big, nurseries, daffodil old and daffodil new, and together they are catering to the huge demand that exists not only in the country, but in all of Southeast Asia, and they are exporting these things. So this is the power of entrepreneurship. I'm sure my young friend would find it quite encouraging. If other people who are just like us could make it, why can't we? All right. Now I come to my time is now, clock is ticking away, so I'll quickly discuss Azim Premji's 10 principles, 10 golden rules that he suggests. First, dare to dream. Azim Premji suggests that, to be a successful entrepreneur, dreaming is very, very important. And our respected former President APJ Abdul Kalamji in his book Ignited Mind also writes the same thing. Dream, dream, and dream. Dreams motivate you for actions. Actions bring successes, right? So dreaming is very important. So the first rule that Azim Premji puts forward for the successful entrepreneurship is dreaming, and then set clear goals. We must be very clear in our mind what we have to do. All right, we have to identify our passion. Tagerita identified her passion to be into manufacturing sector. She had her strength in engineering. She's an agriculture engineer, right? She was not satisfied while working for the government. She identified her strength and used her strength. Okay, Mr. Dhruv Sharma, he knew that horticulture is his strength. So they started daffodils, right? So set clear goals and strive to achieve those things, and never lose zest and curiosity for learning. Learning is very important. Warren Buffett devotes 5 hours every day for reading new things. I read one of his interviews in Forbes, and he says that every day I make it a point to spend at least 5 hours on reading. Okay, same thing with G.D. Bidlaji. G.D. Bidlaji, at the age of 82 years, he was taking tuitions. He took tuitions to learn French language. Okay, so learning never goes waste. All those who read, they lead, right? So this is the third rule that Azim Premji suggests. Fourth, strive for excellence. Mediocrity doesn't last. We have Professor Singh, who has led this great institutions to great heights, not for nothing, maintaining quality. That's why there are several private colleges which came and which phased out very quickly. But Royal Group is thriving, because you have been able to maintain good quality. And while appreciating Professor Singh and his team, I move on to the next topic. So strive for excellence. Be a weaver bird, a small bird that makes beautiful nests. So when small bird can do that, we can also do that, right? build your self-confidence. That's very, very important. Of course, I have taken few examples here. I'm not going to cover all that because of the time constraint. But since we are talking about entrepreneurship, I want to give the example of Mr. Rajiv. I had the opportunity of visiting this Patel Brass during one of my visits to Gujarat. Okay? And this Rajiv Bhai Patel, who owns this Patel Brass company, it's a medium scale and he was the sole producer. He was the sole producer of these 36 types of ball bearings which are used in railways. So obviously he was number one in the country. And then I said, then what about, I was fully convinced. And then I asked him, what about his next plan? He says, I want to be a global leader in next 10 years. Of course, this time I had no reason to disbelieve him. I said, can you enlighten me how you're going to? He says, my plans are based on Indian Railways growth. Indian Railway has taken contract in Nigeria, in Iran, and many other African countries. So along with Indian Rails, I will also be growing. So I'm number one in the country, and I'll be number one in the world also in future. And I monitored his progress, and he was number one. He became number one globally also, right? So build your self-confidence. That's very important. Learn to work in team. Alone, you cannot do anything, right? You must have heard about this Surat diamond merchant's case, who very benevolently, who in a very benevolent manner, he shares his profits with his people, right? Sometimes he has gifted, 50 houses to all his employees. Next year, he gifted cars to all his employees. Okay, so basically, when you look after your team well, your team will also show that kind of commitment. Okay, so learn to work in team. That's also very important. Individuality doesn't, take you too far. Developing team is another thing that Aspirations suggests. Take care of yourself. It is very, very important to take good care of your health also. Okay, maintain yourself well. All right, Anil Ambani, he is a marathoner. He runs marathons. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, who is a very busy person, and he has created skating rinks in his within his own campus. So he advises his people to use his ring and do some exercises. And now in progressive organization we have gyms also. So whenever you are tired of work, go to gym and do some workout. And so taking care of yourself that's very important, because fatigue should not dominate you. And then persevere. The path of entrepreneurship is full of failures, is littered with failures, I would say. Right? Path of entrepreneurship is littered with failures, and if you give up, you are gone. Right? So anyone who can persevere would last. Take any entrepreneur, initial failures they have overcome, then only they could become successful in their life. I would like to, of course, I'm aware of my time, but still I'm tempted to join this small story of a very cute girl in the US. Okay? Her perseverance, I'm sure, would motivate many young entrepreneurs. Young girl, she found that her brother John was bedridden for quite some time. And once she heard her father talking to her mother that, John is not well, and we don't have much money left, and only miracle can save All right. So this is what she heard, she overheard her parents talking. So only miracle can save him, and we don't have money. So this girl realized that there's something serious with my brother John. So she checked up how much money do I have. All right. She had that, piggy bank thing. So she had collected some money. She realized that, okay, their parents don't have much money left with them, but I have some money, and miracle can save. So I'll buy miracle from my savings. So she goes to a chemist, a medicine shop, and asks, uh, uncle, can I have miracle? The shopkeeper, simply laughed it away. He said, no, no, no. She goes to the next shop, asks the same question. She again, got the same response. And when he continues visiting different shops, so one day she found one person standing at the counter. He heard, what did you say? This girl says, uncle, I want to buy miracle. And I have money. I'm not going to get it free. I have money. Then the gentleman said, how much money do you have? And why do you want to buy miracle? Then he explained, my brother is down and he's bedridden for quite some time. And my parents say that they don't have money, but I have money. And I heard my parents, saying that only miracle can save him. So I am here to buy miracle to save my brother. The gentleman asked about his brother. The gentleman asked the girl, how much money do you have? He says, I have $6.90. He said, good. That is the amount required for miracle. All right, I have miracle with me, and I'll take this $6.90 from you and take me to your brother. I'll give miracle there itself. So this gentleman goes there to examine her brother, and he realized that he was suffering from some serious neurological problem. And this gentleman was no other than famous neurosurgeon, Dr. Armstrong. Okay, and Dr. Armstrong took John to his hospital, and of course, he was cured. So what cured John's ailment was not Armstrong, but that girl's perseverance, right? She did not give up. She didn't give up. She persevered and finally succeeded. So it's a great lesson we learn from this small story, and all the entrepreneurs need to show that kind of perseverance, right? And have a broad social vision. Entrepreneurship will not be sustainable if we only think for our own profit. Okay, if we only think for ourselves, entrepreneurship will not take us too far. Have a broad social vision. You all must have heard about Warren Buffett. Okay, he was at one point of time, he was the second richest person after Bill Gates. Of course, now his position has gone down because he's giving a lot of money for charity purpose, and he has also motivated many others, including Bill Gates, to do charity, right? So social vision, if people around us are happy, if people around us are rich, people around us also prosper, our products will also sell in the market. And finally, Ajim Premji suggests that never let success go to your head. Okay, we call it fatal flaws. Okay, we sometimes when we get power, when we achieve some things, success gets into our nerves. So we need to avoid that. Entrepreneurs need to avoid that fatal flaws. Okay, we have seen many cases where people have fallen from top to to the ground. So never let success go to your head. Maintain that humility. We have some great examples of humility. Ratan Tata ji, he's a great example. Okay, with having achieved such great successes, he still he still reflects a high level of humility. Okay, Warren Buffett, he is so down to earth. He still lives in his 2-room flat. Okay, such a rich person living in his old 2-room flat and using his old cars. Okay, so never let success go to your head. And I think that is what paves the way for the sustainability, right? So these 10 points that Ajit Premji puts forward. And with that, I stop and thank you very much for giving me a very pleasant hearing. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was a very interesting session. We got to learn about the 10 golden rules and the examples which examples are, really a learning lesson for us. So we have questions from our participants. So I would read out the questions. So the first question is, what is the most challenging thing about being an entrepreneur?
Right. I think Mr. Chopra would answer this during his talk, but I feel that generating ideas is very, very important, because we have very fertile brains, right? And ideas can, I feel that, good ideas can give us a very good start for being an entrepreneur. Okay. Yeah, many times ideas which are which are considered to be very, not very effective, but they have been able to make big differences. Okay, I give the example of Maggie, 2-minute noodle. We simply laughed at it initially, but it clicked. Okay, we have Uber and Ola and Flipkart. All these entrepreneurial ventures started with just some new good ideas, right? So I think I'll bet for those ideas. Okay, yeah.
So our next question is, what advice would you give to someone just starting a business? I think the participant wants to know, like for the initiators, how they would go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I would suggest that you read the stories or biographies of some successful entrepreneurs. Okay, that's very, very important, because that will give you, some very valuable insights, the struggle they have gone through. Because many times what happens, we enter into an entrepreneurship, we fail, and then we think that, no, it's not our cup of tea. This knowing more about these successful entrepreneurs will give you idea, like they also failed, but still, they, got over those things and then emerged successful. Okay, so I think knowing more about successful entrepreneurs will enlighten you better.
Sir, our next question is, how to manage the falling, self-doubt and failure?
How to manage your self-doubts. Okay, it's a different topic altogether, self-management, right? You need to manage yourself first, discipline, okay, and then self-confidence. Of course, I wanted to give some examples of Mahatma Gandhi and Vivekanand. All right, underestimating yourself is a big crime. At least I consider that to be a big crime. Never underestimate yourself, right? Now, if you permit me, if you give me some time, then I would like to talk about Swami Vivekananda and Mahatma Gandhi, two cases that I wanted to discuss, but I could, due to time constraint, I did not discuss. All right. So Mahatma Gandhi, he went to England to attend this roundtable conference. Okay, and he attended that conference in that loincloth, right? And you all know why Mahatma Gandhi used to wear that single dhoti. Okay, he was going to Bastar and realized saw the plight of while his vehicle was going through a bridge. He realized that ladies, they were bathing and they did not have even the second pair of clothes to cover their bodies. So on that day, from that very moment, he decided that he will wear only that much what is available with other people in the country. So he goes to attend that roundtable conference in those same clothes. What a confidence, And then someone, to humiliate Mahatma Gandhi, asked him, Mr. Gandhi, don't you think that the dress you're wearing is not suiting to this occasion? Then he says, no. What was his response? Had a common person like me have been there, I would have been tremendously nervous. But he says, I think the king is wearing enough clothes for two of us. So, okay, I'm, I'm good enough, right? And another example for, self-confidence I want to use is that of Swami Vivekanand. Swami Vivekanand was traveling in a train. He was having a valid first class ticket, and along with him, his co-passenger was a British chap. So this British gentleman didn't like, uh, a man, an Indian traveling with him. Then he told Swamiji, "Hey, tum dusre compartment mein jao." He told Swamiji in Hindi, "Hey, tum dusre compartment mein jao." स्वामी जी ने उनको बोला, देखिए आप मुझसे तमीज से बात कीजिए, आपको मुझसे आप कह के बात करनी चाहिए, यदि आप मुझसे कुछ कहना चाहते हैं तो आपको मुझसे आप कह के बात करनी चाहिए. Then now this time, embarrassed British, he said, "Hey man, I don't know your language." All right, and Swamiji's response I'm sure it was amazing. He said, "Gentlemen, not that you don't know my language, you don't know your language as well. Otherwise, you would have addressed me as gentleman. I don't know your language." So teaching English to a Britisher, is the confidence that Swami Vivekananda reflected. So never, underestimate yourself. You are, as strong as Einstein or any other person. The only thing is we need to use our brains. We should not underestimate ourselves. Okay. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Very well. So we have few more questions, but I think that will be suitable for our second speaker. Questions are related to funding
Yes.
and things like that.
Okay.
So I would,
right. I think.
yeah, I'll take it up with Pankaj, sir.
Yeah. Sure. I'm also looking forward to listening to Pankaj to enlighten myself. Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing your experiences and giving us a new perspective on the concept of entrepreneurship. I'm sure our participants also have enjoyed it. So you're a gem who has spread your shine in multiple areas with your perseverance, your discipline, and your hard work. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time to be here with us today.
Thanks, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now we move forward to our second part of the program, where we have our esteemed speaker, Mr. Pankaj Chopra. So I would like to give a brief introduction about sir. Sir is a partner of the company India Accelerator and who is also a serial angel investor, speaker, mentor, and founder. He is deeply committed to add value to the startup ecosystem and revolutionize entrepreneurship picture in India. Sir invested in over 80 startups, to name a few: Funds, Galaxy Cards, Lloyd, Nature's Tattva, VAPP, Tech Eagle, Prophase, GetWork, SecLogic, and the list is quite long. So without wasting much time, I would like to hand over the session to Pankaj Chopra, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for a very, very warm welcome. Thank you so much, Royal Global University. I am the most youngest in the event right now. Very privileged and honored to share the event with Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh needs no introduction, has Amity University is a landmark university in its own. Professor Burgon, Dr. Das, Mr. Pant, and thank you so much, Dr. Aruna. I'm a little lost here because Dr. Pant has, with his experience, covered a lot of things, how the entrepreneur journey is. So I will try to do justice in the time I'm getting here. To start with, I would like to quote this, quote from Warren Buffett, and I always use it whenever I am everywhere and anywhere discussing, in a discussion with any of these startups. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. I follow this very, very deeply. I would like to start with, throwing a little light on my journey into the startup ecosystem. I am a numbers person. If you see, I have added another N and added another A. I'm very fascinated by the numerology vertical also. I've been dealing into the stock market since 2008 now, and done a lot of courses. So I'm not a certified financial planner or not a certified financial analyst. All I've learned is through experiences in my different industry verticals. I, as I said, have been associated with the stock market since 2008. And 2014-15, as Professor Pant also, threw some light that we should read, and we should read a lot of case studies of successes as well as failures of who's who have been into this entrepreneurship journey. So while I was, handling a couple of clients in terms of handling their financial portfolios, something bit me, which was a very non-emotional way of and a very non-biased way of making money into the stock market, which was into algorithmic trading. Algo trading is nothing but creating rules and setting them where everything end-to-end happens on the cloud. Everything happens automatically. You only have to open a demat account, and rest your artificial intelligence or your Autobots will do it. Unfortunately, I did not come across a company in India, and unfortunately, I did not come across a skill set of any particular company or any particular individual who could make that particular product for me. So I had that passion, and I had already decided that this is what I have to do. So I met a lot of, lot of software developers. I met a lot of software companies, but unfortunately, they were unable to do it. Now, which I always call is an accidental marriage with the startup ecosystem and with India Accelerator, was back in 2017. 2017 is when I got a call that from a very dear friend of mine who's already a partner with India Accelerator, that there are two IITians, IIT Kharagpur graduates who have made a similar product which you have in your mind. So I was very excited. I reached the Accelerator office based out of Gurgaon, and I had an opportunity to go and attend their presentation. And I was very happy that this is the day, and I have what I was dreaming about. I have got this product in my mind, but I did not know anything about what an accelerator was, what a startup is. I had no clue in 2017. All I knew is that I have two set of people, two IIT graduates who made this product, and I was looking for this product for the last 4 years. So while I started spending more time and developing the product, because I was the subject matter expert in that particular field also, because I've been, doing stocks since 2008 to 2017. I had a fairly good experience of 9 years into the capital markets. We started developing the product. So I had something in my mind, the founders had something in our mind, and we started developing the product. Now, why I'm telling you this journey is, the topic I have been given here is a pre-incubator stage, an incubator stage, and what is a proper startup. A startup means how can a startup be successful. So now, in my startup journey, a pre-incubator stage was missing. And I will come to the my first investment. I will come to what happened to that algo trading platform. I will definitely tell you. But I would want to give a pause and talk about, in my startup journey, the pre-incubator stage was missing. I graduated in 2001. Then there was no e-cell and entrepreneurship cell in the colleges. There was no startup initiative taken in the colleges. So this is one part which was missing when I also entered into the startup ecosystem. So what happens in a pre-incubation stage? Pre-incubation stage is a stage where you just get an idea. and then you dwell that idea amongst your family, friends, peers, acquaintances, or if you've just stepped down from your professional career, while you are working, you get an idea there where this processes can get better, or you are looking at developing a new product. Is that stage or phase? It is a very important phase in the startup ecosystem, where it is very important to discuss idea with yours. If you're in a closed environment or a college, and your college has a pre-incubator cell, it is very important to go ahead and talk to anybody, be it your dean, be it your senior most professor, be it the person who's heading your pre-incubator cell, that this is the idea. See, please understand, Paytm, Flipkart, Amazon, Facebook, Airbnb at one point of time was also an idea. They are unicorns, some are decacorns. So they also had gone through a pre-incubator phase. Of course, at that point of time also, they did not have a pre-incubator cell or a pre-incubator company who would tell them or handhold them. Why is it important? Is this is the stage where you will talk about, before incorporating into a company or before deep diving into the market, you will have to understand how good your product is. Is it another Amazon? Is it another Paytm? Or is it another better Amazon? Is it another better Paytm? So this is that stage where you dwell the idea, where you define the idea, and you're about to measure that how good that idea is. You are just going into another ecosystem where, with discussions, with very important and most importantly, trying to identify, if Pankaj Chopra is good at marketing, do I get another co-founder or another partner who's very good at creating that technology stack or creating that technology product? So and also adding a couple of more founders or a couple of more members in my team is that phase of pre-incubation, where you decide that, our synergies are matching. We are 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us are aligned and want to work for a particular product, a particular service. So this is where your pre-incubation stage is very important. This is your seed, basically, where you're putting a seed and trying to understand what manure do I put? Is there any other hybrid product do I put into the pot, so that seed can give me the produce as early as possible? Yes, there will be challenges. Yes, while you are defining a product, there could be a problem where you're measuring it wrong, which is perfectly all right. Because right now, there is no downside to it. The only downside at a pre-incubation stage is that you get a red cross to your particular product or your particular idea. You go back to the drawing board again. Again, you have a team. The incubation stage will also have their set of mentors. They will have their set of industry experts. They have founders who have gone through that phase. So it is very important for you to engage. It is very important for you to get that idea out of your mind. Be it, see, for me, I don't see an idea could be good, could not be so good. I am not looking at idea which gives a red cross all of a sudden outrightly. No, every idea has to come out. Every idea has a probability to get transformed. Every idea can be modified or can be twisted in a way that there could be a space into the market. When you're ready with an idea, you've engaged the idea in your pre-incubation stage, you're ready, you see a space of the idea in the market, and you're ready to incorporate a company and take that company to the next level, is a stage which is called an incubation stage. See, pre-incubation, incubation, and acceleration, all three are distinguished phases. They are in a way connected and in a way not connected also. When you're ready with an idea which has been virtually validated by some of the industry experts, some of the founders that this idea could do well. See, we're not talking about this idea could get funding. We're not talking about this idea could be successful or not. We're talking about just putting that idea, nurturing that idea, and tossing it over to the next stage. Now you have your team ready. Now you've got some idea of the processes ready, right? The idea has been validated by the industry experts, mentors, where you have access to. The next step is why you have some data ready and you're trying to incorporate a company is your incubation stage. Incubation stage is a much more serious stage than the pre-incubation level, because you're trying to put the idea into black and white. You're trying to file for licenses. You're trying to get government approvals. You're trying to get other XYZ approvals to take the startup idea to the market. You will have to engage through experienced industry minds. You will have to talk to dedicated mentors on it. The most important and the distinguished feature of incubator stage is that you will go to the market to collect data. See, every company, every startup, every new business is driven about data. Once you do a small data set into the market, you will understand how well your product is going to perform. You will get that data back into the company. You will brainstorm in your internal company. You will then go to the market, redesign the wheel, redefine the wheel, take the product again into the market, so that one, you have ideated it. Second, you are ready to disrupt the market. Everything will be backed by data. The difference between pre-incubation and incubation stage right now is you will have your set of mentors, industry veterans in your pre-incubation stage. You might have the same set of same set of mentors, same set of industry veterans, same set of veteran founders of successful founders in your incubation stage also. But the mentorship changes here. The mentorship is more engaged. The mentorship is more intense. Why? Because you are now going to the open market. You are diving deep into the waters, understanding how well can I go from north to south, and how well can I collect the data from the market and get back. Why is data very, very important? Data is an enabler. Data will help you understand how good your product is. Data will help you reach the next level into the company, be it a services company, be it your product company. It is very, very important. Now, at the opening, when I was sharing my first investment into the startup ecosystem, into the algorithmic company, all these things were missing actually. I at that point of time did have a mentor. At that point of time did have an industry veteran. At that point of time I did get access to the best industry minds possible. But then, had I got this while I was in college? Had I got this while I was between jobs, or while I had this in my mind, maybe I had where to the best industry minds possible? No. The time period which the company takes from point A to point B, from a pre-incubator, if you have a pre-incubator in place, if you have an incubator in place, makes a lot of difference in your entrepreneurship journey. An incubator is the most integral stage between a pre-incubator and an accelerator stage. It gives you the right path. It tells you whether you will be successful or not. It is an enabler for you to be the next Paytm or the next Zomato or the next Oyo of the world. As Professor Pant was also saying, India has got a lot of unicorns of late. Of those unicorns, are data driven. All those unicorns are somewhere or the other have gone through this incubator phase. All the unicorns right now are looking at improvising the business. How will they improvise the business? Everything and anything depends upon data. The next step, when you're ready with all the data sets possible, you're ready to reach the next level. This is the level where you would want the maximum amount of funding. This is the level where you would want the right mentors. This is the stage where you would want the right peers with you. Peers, be it mentors, peers could be industry veterans, peers could be somebody in helping with your go-to-market product, somebody who can upscale your technology, is where the accelerator model comes in. Accelerator model is a platform where you are absolutely ready with your product. Your product has been validated. You have a number of users. You've got traction. You've got revenue in place. We are not talking about whether you're profitable or not. We are only talking about a product which is ready to be used and is accepted in the market. Role of an accelerator. Your accelerator will help you reach your global users. An accelerator will help you get funded. An accelerator will redesign the wheel. I'm not saying redefine the wheel, so that you get a better audience. They will help you create a go-to-market product. They will help you in networking. They will help you grow your business. They will help you in whatever way, becoming your virtual CFOs, your virtual CTOs, the chief technological officer, your virtual chief financial officer. Is a platform where you are ready to basically take off from the runway. You've done the runway in the pre-incubator and incubator stage. You're actually identifying is where your accelerator comes into the picture. It's a very brief and a very bird's eye view of what an incubator, what an pre-incubator and an accelerator does. I believe I could do justice to the time and giving a bird's eye view. Dr. Renu, Dr. Renu, I would want to take the question. I was a little quick because I would want to take the question answers first, so that I can give a better explanation and a better engagement here, so that because I can see there are a lot of questions in the chat box already.
Okay, so I'll read the questions for you then.
Sure.
So we have one question regarding, kindly let us know how to learn about the documentation required during starting and running a company.
Okay, great. So this is a very good example of what happens in the incubation stage. As I said, a pre-incubation stage is where you're just ideating. Your incubation stage is where you are basically getting that idea into a company form. When you're forming a company, an incubation will have all the mentors in different verticals, be it legal, be it finance, be it technology, be it marketing, be it a go-to market product. This is where an incubator plays a very pivotal role in creating your company. All the documentation and all the certification and licenses which are required for you are done right at that incubation stage.
Sir, our next question is how to find investors and how to pitch the idea to an investor successfully. What do the investors look for?
Great. So I would want to very loudly and very boldly, I will tell you, do not run after getting funded. Make your product investably fit and de-risk your product. There will not be any dearth of any investor coming in as and when you want to raise funds. This is where an incubator and accelerator model play another pivotal role. See guys, Once you make your product or your startup or your business investably fit, that means you've not unturned any stone possible. Your go-to-market product is intact. You've got proper data sets. Your technology is the best. You're scaling week on week. You're managing all the metrics quarter on quarter. So this is a long journey. So a journey from a pre-incubator and an incubator stage can take about 2 years also. The fastest stage is an accelerator stage, because that is combined into a boot camp or a cohort. At India Accelerator, what we do is all these startups which are eligible and get into that boot camp are aligned in one way or the other. They have all their licenses in place. They have their go-to-market strategies in place. They are generating revenue, and they are live business models with proper data sets available. So the timeline for a boot camp here is not more than 4 to 6 months. The best part about a boot camp or a cohort in India Accelerator is, which I call is a B school of startups. This is where we make your product investably fit, and we de-risk them, and we put them onto a conveyor belt model where a lot of investors, mini VCs, consultants can come in. They can pick up their different verticals, and then they can get into the rounds of investment. So as I said, there is no science to presenting to an investor, or there is no exact formula behind it. But yes, you have to make sure that while you're into that incubator stage, and then when you move on, graduate to an accelerator stage, and then when you graduate from an accelerator stage, your product should be investably fit and should be de-risked. This is where all the ingredients you will get in an incubator and an accelerator model. So right, starting from the college, yes, backed either by a private accelerator, or from that college when you move on to a private accelerator like us, which is India Accelerator, is where you get a combined package of getting de-risked and investably fit.
Sir, our next question is how to get a good mentor and where? How to go about the pre-incubation phase? Like how to know if my idea will be successful? And how two, three things clubbed together.
Yeah, sure. So getting a mentor. See, a mentor could be, it depends which stage are you in. If you're into pre-incubation stage, maybe your father is your mentor. Maybe your relative is your mentor. Maybe your peer, your colleague, your acquaintance is your mentor. So pre-incubation stage, I would call it a very informal stage right now. Yes, there are a lot of formal platforms also, but yes, that is where you are in a way just not even validating, just putting that idea on a rough sketch. You can go to your college, you can immediately go to anyone who you think that has a keen interest and a know-how about how a startup is, or for that matter, let's not talk about a startup. We are talking about a very initial stage of incepting a business. So anybody and anybody who, professor who understands or teaches you business management, you can go to him, you can talk to your peers, you can talk to your parents, they could be your mentor. A more serious mentor will come in, if it is not a formal pre-incubation platform, will come into an incubation and an accelerator phase. What was the next question, ma'am?
Yes, our next question is from an incubating. Yeah, the question is, after starting a company, some people or clients ask for patent right for a particular product. So how to spend amount for patent for the product, because a lot of money are being spent to develop a product and its packaging. Can you give some advice for the issue?
Sure. So incubation is also one of those phases where you will get your initial funding. So you will have to understand how well organically are you growing your company. If your particular product needs a patent, which is a very good USP, your product should need that patent, and you should make a business model in such a way that what is the exact amount of spend you would need on your fixed expenses. So if patent is coming in between of selling your product, so the patent has to be done. So if you're raising funds, and yes, as I said, an incubator or an accelerator will always give you an access to a mentor. So a mentor closely watches your startup. If he thinks that this is a very good startup, a mentor can be an investor also. So you guys have to understand that. See, I would want to quote a very, very good line from Warren Buffett again. It is better to hang out with better people than you, or industry veterans get an access, because you will drift in that direction. So after you're doing a pre-incubation stage where you're in your family and friends, in your very captive cocoon, and when you move out, is where you will get access to mentors and industry thought leaders. And if you get the right mentor will guide you in all these things for sure, but he could in turn be an investor or an investor connectee also, because no one would want to go away with a good startup.
So we have around 3 questions on team building, like how to select a team while we want to start a business. How to select a good team? What are the qualities required in the teammates? How do we go ahead with that?
See, eventually you will be spending more time than you will be spending with your parents, your wives, and your husbands eventually. Choosing a team, at times could be you get an option, but normally all these stars will be realigned in such a way that you get a team. Getting a co-founder or getting a founder, hiring a co-founder is the most difficult thing. While you are in your pre-incubation phase or a pre-incubation stage, is that time when you're discussing things and when you're getting feedback, that is the time you will actually form a team. Incubation, yes, but all I've seen with my experience, while you're in college, while you're ideating that idea, your idea is still in the mind, and when you are the first person, the second or third or fourth person you do it, you would kind of get a co-founder then and there. And team, eventually when you grow, the best lethal combination of a founder and co-founder will be one will be from a tech background and one will be from a non-tech background. That is how I see it.
So we have one more question. What are the legal requirements for starting a business?
Again, every business has its incorporation legal structure. If we are per se only talking about the specific to industry verticals, we have an incubator or an accelerator always has a legal team and a legal team which will enable them to create a company, incorporate a company, assist them in getting all the licenses possible, and to the last question, getting the patents also. So that is a pivotal a role of an incubator and an accelerator also.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much. So we don't have any more questions in the chat box. So, sir, can we? Yes.
We have one more, Aruna. We have one more question. Just go and see the chat box.
So how to target the audience for product? So this question is already being asked.
Okay.
This is being repeated again. Okay. So, Pankaj sir, would we go forward to the conclusion? Okay.
Sure. So, again, so I wanted to make this a more engaged event, because I'm sure, a lot of people, because I also come across over 500 plus applications, applications apply to us for our bootcamp, for our cohort. in the absence of an incubator or a pre-incubator stage, there are a lot of pre-incubator and incubator stage startups also come in. So I would want to tell you a very bird's eye view of what at India Accelerator we do, so that everybody, the audience, get benefited out of it also. So I call this a B school for startups. When I say a business school for startups, we take these startups through a 14th-week boot camp. This is a very intense hand-holding boot camp, which gives you a combination independent sessions on design thinking, OKR sessions, lean canvases, and this culminates into a demo day. Demo day is nothing but a large canvas of what a Shark Tank does. We have a captive network of investors of over 900 right now, who are mentors, who are industry thought leaders, who are CXOs. Because at India Accelerator, we run on a 3-pillar approach, which is a 3C approach, which is connect, competent, and cash. Competency I've already shared, where we run a 14-week bootcamp, which culminates into a demo day. Demo day is a platform where we get audiences, angel investors, CXOs, industry thought leaders, veterans, founders who would want to invest into and take these startups to the next level. Could be passive investors or could be active investors. Second, we have the connects. We have a mentor pool and an investor pool of 900 plus already, who are the founders or the startups who are in the bootcamp get immediate access to that pool. The pool is the most pivotal role here, which plays a very pivotal role. Why? Because the mentors take the startup to the next level. The mentors play a very important and a very pivotal role here. One, of course, mentors could eventually be investors also. Mentors could play a pivotal role in de-risking the startup and make them investably fit for our conveyor belt model. Cash, as I said, mentors, we give them access to specific mentors from their specific industries, verticals, is when mentors, if mostly all the mentors, yes, do invest in the particular startups they are mentoring, or they connect them to their proper investors. So very bird's eye view of this is what we do at India Accelerator.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing us information. So, sir, with this, we have come to the end of the program. With due permission of VC, sir, we would like to move to the conclusion of the program.
Yes, sure, Aruna. Thank you. Thank you, Pankajji. It was really very interesting.
Thank you so much.
I was listening to you. I was not sitting on my seat, sitting on the other side with some guests, but I was constantly listening to you. Thank you so much.
It was a privilege, sir. Thank you so much. Being the youngest in the group, so I've got this privilege to go to a lot of IITs across India, and the passion and the enthusiasm which I see. And after 2014, when our Honorable Prime Minister came in, and the wave which for the startups have come in, it is tremendous. So thank you so much for giving us the privilege. India Accelerator is also looking forward for a deep association here. So thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, Pankaj. We are also trying our best to establish our innovation incubator.
Right.
We have got a very good space for that. It will be inaugurated on, I think, 8th of November. The physical infrastructure, we already have 1 or 2 companies there. And while I was in MIT, I was sitting in the innovation incubator itself.
Right.
So all that, I think, is going to be a good ecosystem out here also.
Sir, you've been there, done that. Amity is a landmark in its own. So yes, of course, if it's backed by you, I'm sure it is going to reach the skies. I'm very, very sure about it.
Thank you, Pankaj.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear participants. You all were engaging in an enthusiastic crowd. I mean, we all could feel it with the questions that you all have put forward with. Thank you, our invited speakers, Professor Pant and Mr. Pankaj. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, respected Chairperson Academics, Alok Buragohai, sir, and all the members without whose support the program would not have been a successful one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.